So I was just minding my own business the other day, boosting some shit newbies. And all of a sudden... What the hell? Yep, that's 2.8 billion without the holy cringe elixir. And that's without being able to stagger bosses in a two-man party, which would grant 40% more big damn, via the control glyph. So yeah, we're up to 4 billion damage now. This is no accident, however. I've been hard at work, been maxing the Paragon board and gear to make this ultimate boss killer Necro build. And in this video, we'll go through everything you need to know to start slapping some bosses, and we'll end with how to kill this goddamn bitch.
Lovely lady.
Because while all the other bosses just explode after my big boy golem hitting them, this one is a bit spicy. But firstly, let's talk about how in the hell 4 billion damage is even a possibility. The main damage in this build comes from stacking 3 major passives: Golem Mastery, Hellbent Commander, and the Cult Leader Legendary Node. The Golem Mastery and Hellbent Commander are mandatory to deal big damn, and you get these on your gear pieces. The more, the better. When it comes to the Cult Leaderboard, however, most builds require you to rock the Frenzied Dead aspect to hit 100% attack speed. I, however, threw that shit in the trash and instead sorted that out in the Paragon, allowing for either Starless Skies or the Elements aspect in case you're a shit newbie without uber uniques. Another thing I did to completely max out the damage of this build was to sit like a gazillion hours trying to sort out the Paragon board. I'm currently rocking 7 glyphs, along with all the important legendary node needed to dish out as much damage as possible. And if you thought I was done here, I'm not. We're also ditching the Blood Mist skill for Blight to deal a whopping 40% more damage, and while this is mandatory to deal as much damage as possible, you'll probably hecking die in high pit runs using this. As I'm your best bro, however, I'll obviously provide you with the different setups in the planner found in the description. Alright, I think it's time. Yep, it's time to hecking blast and check out my gear and aspects. Just try not to hecking coom, alright, because I CBA cleaning up your disgusting mess. And firstly, we have a helmet. Well, duh, but what helmet? This one, you goddamn legend. Intelligence is the most important stat for dealing big damn, obviously, but I'd focus on the cooldown reduction for pretty much everything else. Also, make sure to slap on the Occult Dominion aspect here, as you obviously want to have more friends to play with. A bunch of you also asked if you should use Shaco, and all Ubers except for Starless Skies are pretty shit for this build, but at least you'll look based with your new cool helmet. If you're going to use it, then drop the Hardened Bones aspect. Now this is where you find both Titty Protection and Golem Mastery ranks. I checked, and if you manage to get one with greater affix on it, then you'll get 5 ranks if you hit it once, 6 if you hit it twice, and 7 if you hit it 3 times. If you ever want to splurge some gold and keep resetting your master working, then I'd definitely recommend hitting this one twice, at least as it's a 25% damage increase per rank. You also want to have the Aphotic aspect here. Not only does this contribute to the Blighted aspect, which we'll see soon, but it's also bugged out of its mind and granting us crazy amounts of cooldown reduction. And for gloves, you'll look for something like this. Ideally, you would have golem damage instead of damage to clothes, but hey, who gives a shit? For boner protection, grab these along with the Hardened Bones aspect and you're good to go. When it comes to boots, by far the most important stat to grab is movement speed. Why, you may ask? Because no one wants to be a fucking sloth, that's why. Also, make sure to get the Bloodgetters aspect. This one is insanely busted for our armor aspect, as it not only grants us 20% big damn whenever we summon more than our 11 skelly friends, but it also heals us a bunch. Alright, that's the armor. Now for some actual fun pieces. As weapon, you're obviously grabbing a scythe, since it has the slowest weapon speed. And slower speed means harder stonks for your big boy golem. The most important stat here, however, is minion attack speed. You need a high roll here, as well as hit it while masterworking, because it's hecking important that you get at least 75% attack speed for your minions. We'll get 25 from the Paragon, but the remaining 75% is all you, baby. You therefore want to get attack speed on all pieces, as well as try to hit them while masterworking once, or grab some greater affixes. Or at least upgrade your gear Elomao. I'm 8 out of 12 on most pieces because I'm a lazy bastard. Also, don't forget to imprint the blighted aspect here, because it's by far the biggest damage increase aspect. Okay, onto the jewelry. On the amulet, you definitely want Hellbent Commander, as every rank is 15% damage for your friend. You also want Amplify Magic here and Attack Speed, but getting all of that basically forces you to become a gold buyer. So yeah, just do your best. I'm also using the Unyielding Commander's aspect here for biggest burst stonks possible. Next, we have the rings. Try to grab something like this and slap on the Grasping Veins aspect. I'm also using the Ring of Starless Skies for the massive 40% damage increase. If you don't have it, then that's fine. Just grab the same ring as the other one and slap on the Elements aspect for the biggest one-shots possible, or the Frenzied Dead aspect for higher DPS. Wait, what? Gear and aspects already done. Shit, son. Made that one look easy. Let's head straight on over to my highly intellectual skill tree now and get real smart together. But first, make sure to become a sub and member. And this is for 2 reasons. Firstly, you'll become an actual Paragaming Giga Chad. And secondly, alright, the basic skills, yeah, screw those. In the core skills, we have one yummy spell, however. Blight can be used for our blighted aspect, which is neat, but we also a double-dipping 40% damage increase. 20% for both me and my Big Daddy Golem, yes thank you. We then head on over to some corpse skills and grab these passives to hit the armor cap and get some more damage. This is also where we have Blood Mist. I definitely recommend using this one rather than Blight when farming and doing pit runs. And you're probably confused to shit why I have 1 point here currently, and that's for boosting newbies in the Lilith fight. Whenever she's low, I just swap out Blight for Blood Mist to stay alive with ease. In the curse skills, we have a bunch of nice passives for damage and also Decrepify. For bossing, we mainly look for Abhorrent Decrepify, however, as the cooldown reduction this one provides is absolutely massive, especially with the bugged aphotic aspect. We then grab Corpse Tendril and pick up Plagued Corpse Tendril as our source of vulnerable. To get fortified, we also have Necrotic Carapace here. And in the ultimate skills, we find all the good stuff. Golem Mastery, hell yes. Inspiring Leader, yes thank you. And Hellbent Commander, oh yes sir. We also find Army of the Dead here, which resurrects our dead friends as they yeet themselves off the Lilith platforms or whatever. And lastly, the key passive. We rock the Shadow Blight passive here, which we only do since the blighted aspect is so hecking good, and also due to them all being shit. Well, shit. Great job you got through the skill tree as well. You have to be pretty base then. Let's check out the Book of the Dead now. Definitely haven't forgot that one before, Lamau. For our Skelly Warriors, we pick up Reaper and spawn some extra corpses. We mainly use it for this one, however, as the other one is bugged and is triggering both of them. We'll swap once Blizz gets their thumb out of their ass, though. We then have Shadow Mages, where we get some extra damage here. And lastly, the Golem. The Blood Golem has massive stonks with his special ability, but we also pick him due to this one, granting a massive 50% extra damage. All right, do you know what time it is? Yep, it's Paragon o'clock, and you know it. If you're a Paragaming enjoyer, then you should be somewhat familiar with this setup. But at the same time, I've had to cut a bunch of corners to make this one work. Mainly dropping defensives, but hey, we're no dumb beta cuck soy boys here, are we? Damn right. Starting off in the starting board, we're socketing Corporeal for the 20% damage. We don't care all that much about the additive stuff. Instead, we want all of those multiplicative damage. After that, we go to pick up Dead Razor, an absolute massive node. Putting it here grants a bit of extra golem damage. We also want Hulking Monstrosity, as 100% big dam is pretty good. Here to the left, we also have Cult Leader. You need to grab this legendary node, but do it as the last board, since we're not using any rare nodes here. Instead, go to the Wither board and socket Amplify for some extra damage. And again, we don't give a shit about the additive bonuses here. Then head on over to the Bone Graft board and pick up Golem for a massive 25% damage increase. After that, we grab the Flesh Eater legendary node. Due to this node, you'll want to keep spamming Raise Skeletons to spend corpses. Essence grants an additional 22% crit damage when enemies are below 80%, which is nice. After that, we go to the Scent of Death board. I had to ditch this legendary node for dealing more damage, but you'll grab this one in the other setup. Instead, we socket Exploit here for whenever we fight Lilith or Control for everything else. You'll then grab these nodes instead and go for the Stagger before you do your 4 billion Wombo combo. And lastly, the Blood Beget board. Since we're using Blight in the Boss Killer setup, we're able to use this glyph to boost our damage by 20%, which is hecking neat. Alright then, that's the Paragons done. Now it's time to get hecking good and learn how to game this amazing build. Let's do it and send Lilith to hell at the same time. Firstly, you see these elixirs right here. It's Precision and Anti-Venom. Definitely recommend those. You then jump into the fight, ask Mommy what's up, and start blasting her with Blight and Decrepify. You then need to make sure to kill this annoying tumor before you one-shot Lilith, as your Wombo combo can bug out otherwise. It's then time to send out as many Blight as possible and start spending corpses for your damage bonuses, as well as to proc the blighted aspect. When you have all your stacks up, you'll press Army of the Dead and catch her later, so to say. Now phase 2 is where things get annoying. Start by spending some corpses for the damage bonus. No need to spend this many though, but who cares? When she spawns, you just want to press all of your buttons ASAP. You should manage to get her down rather low before she runs off again. If she runs off too early like here, that's even better, because that means that you'll be able to stagger her later. You then run around in an anti-clockwise circle trying to dodge these blue balls. Just don't send in your golem to do his special ability when doing this, because he'll yeet himself off the platform. If you get her staggered, then it's easy gaming from now on, because when she's low, she will bug out and keep doing her platform dance only. This would also be a perfect time to swap Blight to Blood Mist. You then simply run around in circles trying to dodge the blue balls and use Blood Mist when you can't. If you're boosting some shit newbies, then this is also a perfect time to let them join in and teleport on you. In the end, she'll spurg out, which means that you'll have to do it as well or use Blood Mist to dodge. You then simply send out your golem to 360, no-scope her to death, and it's game over. And that's all, my friends. Don't forget to sub and become a Paragaming member, and I'll see you in the next one.